All right. So let's start the show with a little bit of news coming from GitLab over the last by now 3 weeks. We had a little bit of changes with regards to making sure that on Qualcomm devices, newer Qualcomm devices included, the audio system pass through is set up for audio calls to work. Um, this was a little change, but it was more than enough to make it work with the Fairphone 5, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, this is the big one, in my own personal opinion, and very much for many people out there as well, I would have to guess. And that one is Ophono Binder Plugin and Ophono Binder Plugin XMTK. Now, what do those two do? You might be asking. And those two plugins to Ophono ensure that newer Android-based devices work with calling by default. And the XMTK one implements, drum roll, voice over LTE for MediaTek devices. So Notkit and a few others have been very busy on ensuring that Ophono Binder plugin XMTK works properly and ensures that on the Vollaphone X23 and the upcoming one, the voice over LTE stuff is implemented properly so that voice over LTE works on those devices. I've been looking forward to that for a long time. I'm glad it's here. And thanks again to everyone involved who made this happen. It also includes the whole bunch of changes, includes also indication in the indicator with regards to showing that voice over LTE is in use. And also upcoming, not merged as far as I'm aware, but upcoming are system settings changes that voice over LTE can be turned on or off depending on the situation that you're in. So assuming that you're, as I had to learn just recently this week, my mobile provider doesn't support voice over LTE on the Pixel 3a, and I can't verify it in the future with something that might be coming up on the Pixel 3a. So I would have to disable it on this device, and I can see others in other countries also being in a similar situation. So this might be one last missing change that needs to be merged. But other than that, voice over LTE is very much tangible now. We can touch it, and we can feel it on the Vollaphone X23 in the future and also upcoming devices. Okay, so there were a few other things with regards to fixing tests in Click. There were also sync monitor changes for compilation and fixing typos. There were also changes to Ethercast, which is cool to see that it allows Ethercast to work with the wireless display monitor support, wireless display or wireless desktop mode from phone or tablet to a Miracast adapter or Miracast capable TV. And there have been a few fixes that ensure that it works on more devices now. And other than that, I mean, those have only been updated or merged in the last week, and GitLab is a little slow right now. There were also some changes to Lumiri with regards to ensuring that the IMS or voice over LTE status is passed through and passed on. We're also seeing changes with AIDL vibrator health, which means newer Android devices, they ship hardware abstraction services that are to be interfaced differently with, and we're accommodating for those changes now in libgbinder. And they ensure that when Ubuntu Touch wants to vibrate, the Halium side services take that into account and they start vibrating properly. There are also, what do we have here otherwise? Yeah, GitLab CI changes to make sure that our components build again across all the applications. I think that's a pretty big list already. So I don't know. I can only There's also some ADB charging only mode for USB Mode D. other things here that's really it's a long list. I don't want to go through all of it, but uh, rest assured that we're seeing a lot of changes coming to Noble and to Focal, which we also have uh, decided on bringing an OTA 6 out for on the by the end of October. Let me see again. It's we've already frozen, and also target release date is around the 18th of October, so roughly in 2 weeks. I don't know why this link is here in.
Oh, I just because if someone wants to go check the full list because it's a long
Yeah,
one, you can go to this URL.
or put it in chat because it's very hard to type this one off of the screen.
I will also. Yes, you're
Yes,
right.
please. All right. So yeah, I would say this is a pretty nice roundup of news that we had over the last 2 weeks, and we should head over to the open store updates. What do you think?
Yeah, we have several updates since it's been 3 weeks. So we have new apps. So the first one is a time calculator. So where is it? My eyes. The time calculator, it allows you to make some computation of times. So in base 60 for the minutes and seconds, and then base 10 for the hours, or maybe base 24 because it has days. So yeah, some have helpful app for those who need it because yeah, I know I've been in a pickle for a couple of times with time calculation. So instead of picking a paper and a pen, I will rely on this app now. Another new app is Movens, or yeah, I think Movens from Wilfried. Oh, I didn't say who did time calculator. It's Vlad Niaki. Thank you, Vlad, for this app. Yeah, very welcome. Movens allows you to get your current speed and compass and elevation information if you have those sensors available. So yeah, with GPS, you can have your current speed, and so this app will give you a simple tachymeter.
In case you're wondering whether your car was lying to you.
Your car is always lying to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, for our sakes, they tend to say that you go a bit faster than you really go because they don't want to be tied in a legal action because you were flashed at, let's say, 2 kilometers above the limit when really you were looking at your counter and it said it was right on spot. So yeah, interesting app and something useful in a day-to-day basis. We have also a new version and also a new maybe it's a new app. It's not really that it's the launcher module for Focal. I don't know if it's also available on Scenario, but a previous version of another app called Launcher Modular was also available. But yeah, so this one looks very nice and allows you to have a different, how we call it. So people who wanted to go home have now something to call home. It's an app, yes, but it behaves like a home screen. Yeah. So great to have this new app, and thanks to Sadr Linux or Lutin 11. And I think they are one of our sponsors, but I think it's called Lutin who's behind.
Yes.
So yeah, great thing to have it back. Some people missed Launcher Modular, so they will be probably very happy. And I know particularly one person. So Great to see that. Thank you very much. And we have also the open store payment POC. So for proof of concept, because it's not a complete app, as I think. There are some disclaimers. They are not part of reports. It's not an official app. It's just a proof of concept for a way of having payments in the open store, I guess. So yeah, I don't know what to do with it. It's for the moment payment is with light something some crypto money. I'm not really good with Litecoin. That's it. So yeah, I don't know where it can lead, but if the community wants it and many people go for something like this, it can be the future of the open store. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it could be. It's hard to say. I'm not really sure if we are the persons who should be giving hopes out there, because we are not running the open store. It's not run by
No.
us. It's not run by the foundation.
Yeah.
But from an app developer's perspective, I would definitely welcome something along those lines, because there are a lot of applications that you usually can't find on other platforms, and those should be worth something to people out there, and not just be leached from a gratis site. So, and don't give me the it's all free argument, because you know what we're talking about. We're not talking about gratis. We're talking about Libre. So there we go.
Yeah. So thank you, Adam Friedrich, for this app. I guess it will create some discussion in the forum probably, and they link a post in the forum to discuss about this app and the ID. So I guess we will see some activity there. So yeah, what I like is, maybe I don't like some ideas or stuff, but what I really like is people taking matter into their own hands and
Yes.
making a proposal and pushing it and see how the community responds. And that's great. We have a lot of updated apps, so I will just call them quickly. We have Argentan Mobile, which is it seems to be a web app for a bank in Belgium. We've got the famous finger painting, which allows you to just draw with your finger on your screen. John updated Jelek Vanilla. It is text adventure game. We have updates also from core apps from the foundation. We have the file manager, the terminal, the weather app. We have a ship counter that
I want
allows you
to
to.
say something along regarding the file manager and the terminal.
Yeah.
Remember when you enabled snaps using snaps, or it would disable the password entry for both unlocking in file manager, and also it was disabled the pin entry for the terminal app? They're back now. So
Oh,
it is more secure now. It is back to where we want it to be, and it ensures that not only does it work in the case of devices without Snap support, it also works with devices with Snap support now.
yeah, great. So let's continue. I was at the ship counter, which allows you to count almost anything. You can add labels and have several of them and count them. So that's a good thing. Can be useful in some situations. We have a public transportation app for the Czech and Slovak country. Lighthouse control, which allows you to control VR lighthouses with your device. We have also an update of the project timesheet for controlling Odoo services. Searchlight Handheld, which is a retro game like the first Donkey Kong was. So it's a game brought back by John as well. UT Translator has been also updated. Pocket VM, you made some changes recently. We have also Wi-Fi transfer, NIMEA app, which controls your own automations. What's Web, which is basically a client for WhatsApp, the web version. And I think we are through.
There we go. All right. So thanks again for all the updates and new apps that we have seen or have been seeing over the last few weeks on the Open Store. And with that, I think we should head over to the sponsors section. Where do we have them? We have them here. Thanks to our sponsors helping us stay afloat and giving us all the resources that we require for ensuring that this project can stay afloat and alive. So we will mention those. There's Smooth, Vala, Pine64, OneStime, DigitalOcean, Netlify, Odoo Community Association, Private Internet Access, Gardner and Associates Consulting Inc., Tixia, GitLab, Cloudrun, CodeLuta, and Gandhi.net. Thanks again to all the sponsors, and we also have the patrons. And I'm thinking, since Marius hasn't been saying much until now, he should butcher the names. Does he have the names in front of him?
I do. If the pad is up to date, I do have
should
them.
be.
It should be.
There
Okay.
we go.
So let me butcher some names.
Where are they? We're waiting.
Patreon. Atil, Asmund Kapang, Conspy, Daniel Franchak, Heather Ellsworth, JT, Kenneth Drew, Luigi311, Marty McFly Jr., Mr. T 1001, Omengus, PK, Robin Hood, Rundalus, Spender House, Stephen Gunger, Tuffison, Will Atwood, Linus Rooney, Jose Angel Ekura, Michael Kellner, and Inleak.
That was
So sorry for
well butchered. Well butchered.
This is a proper butcher.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We've been missing that. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks everyone for your support, because it's really important. And now that I start to have a look into the finances of the foundation, I see that we don't have a lot. We basically don't have money. So it's really important to keep the lights on. And so thank you very much. Thank you all. If you wish to donate to the UbiPost Foundation, you can head to ubipost.com/donate. It's highly appreciated, and we need it more than ever. You can also help us by using buying merch on the shop at ubipost.com/ I don't know if the EN is mandatory, but /shop.
There we go.
And also, if you want me to butcher your name, you can also be a part of Patreon too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, we got Patreon, LiberaPay. You can also do SEPA wire transfers in CDU. So you have the means.
Let's head over to the questions, shall we? So we take these questions from the forum roughly a week before the show starts. This time, because we had to postpone, we had a little bit of time to collect a few more. And let's start with the question from GT. When will a Noble channel be created in the openstore.io? So apps for UbiPorts based on Ubuntu 2404 Noble Numbat. Well, I would say at a point where it reaches maturity enough so that applications can actually be tested on the thing, because a lot of things are still missing from the list of components that are supposed to be shipped in the rootfs in the system. Considering that those are not in there, it's not much of a surprise that we don't have an open store channel. But assuming that it reaches a point where we, as the developer core development group, say, okay, this is basically feasible now to develop applications against, and ensure that all the libraries are available, all the components that are required are there. So it might take some time. There's not much of an ETA here, but you can help us speed this up by helping us contribute to the thing. Because what we do have right now is hidden channels, which I'm not going to tell you how to enable. You might be able to figure it out in the Ubuntu installer. But if you install the hidden channels with the new daily builds, they already point to 2404 based Ubuntu Touch. Nowhere near tested or testable by any stretch of the imagination. So watch out! Don't install this on your daily driver, because that would that would be like shooting yourself in the foot, and we don't want to have that. So there we go. People can help us speed up the development, and they could also prematurely test whether their 2004 applications continue to work without much of a recompilation. Some things might, some things might not. It depends on the situation regarding the applications and what they require. So please go ahead and help us get this thing out, so to say.
Yeah, I will jump one question to just get to another related to this one. It's from Kaden that says, hooray for the 150 years Q&A. And they say, regarding to the recent Ubuntu Touch Noble upgrade, would you recommend people using only Ubuntu Touch as a daily driver upgrade yet, or wait for Noble to be a bit more stable? Specifically for the Fairphone 4, as that's what I'm using. Second question regarding apps on Noble. Will focal apps work on Noble? I remember many Xenile apps stopped working and had to be upgraded to focal. Many thanks.
It will, in certain cases, depending on what you, as an app developer, whether you link to certain libraries in the app that are not available in that specific version anymore, then yeah, you will have to recompile, and some applications might not work. The QML only ones, they will most probably work as they are already. But for everything else, for 2404 C++ or natively compiled applications, it's sort of like a hit and miss situation where you will have to figure it out on as an app developer whether it needs a recompilation. It's always recommended to do an app recompilation, but in case you want to download a click package from the open store site, sure, yeah, you might be on your own. You will have to test it. You will have to verify that it works as it is. I can't guarantee it, but there is a certain possibility that it should, and not with everything, but with a lot of things. Those things only happen because we can only ship, because of this storage requirements, we can only ship one version of, for example, Qt or OpenSSL, which is a particular offender here because it has been upgraded, and other things. And if the app requires a certain older version of it, then you can't do much about it. And that's the old DLL hell situation. What would help, though, in this case, is something like snaps or flatpaks, where the application is either shipping the dependencies on its own, or there is a common version of the set of libraries that are required, and everything points to that and gets its libraries from there. But we don't have that. So again, something that should get you interested in working with us and getting those things up on par with other like options out there, just mentioning. So there are certain opportunities, but certain things are not able to be accomplished just yet.
Yeah, but it won't be as, let's say, bad as for the move from Xenio to Focal, um, because not that much has changed
Yeah.
on this front. Because yeah, it was a big modification from Xenio to Focal. But yeah, still it's not a guarantee. And for upgrading to the hidden channel, if you're daily driving your device, I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
If you have a spare device, of course, please do and help us out.
Yes. All right. Do we have another question? What other question should we pick? There are a handful.
We have a very long question that I will
Yeah.
try to summarize as much as I can.
Yes.
It's from Gazwani, if I don't butcher your name, sorry. So basically, they say that they enjoy Ubuntu Touch a lot, and they tried different distros, and they really like Ubuntu Touch and Selfish OS. But what they want to say is that with the presence of stability is not enough. And yeah, our main advantage, let's say, is the stability, the thing that we can daily drive it and rely on your phone to be able to make calls, receive SMS, and then the other aspect of smartphone is a bit under what can be found in other distros. So yeah, this is a bit of the state currently. And they also add that most used applications are those required by the average user are lacking. And they state, for example, a web engine based on Firefox, an alternative to Signal, and with instant notification, and other applications that are updated. I think our applications are updated. We show that every 2 weeks in the Q&As. And Domu BPKM answered in the forum, browser, and browser. So basically what I want to say is that at the moment we only rely on Qt Web Engine, and very recently we have a very alpha release of Mini Browser from Alfred, which is an alternative to with a different web engine, not based on Chrome. So it's based on the, I don't remember the name of the engine, but
WebKit.
used by Safari. NetKit. WebKit.
No, WebKit, yes.
WebKit, okay. And yeah, for applications, I guess it will be hard for the foundation to support them because the foundation delivers some basic applications like the what's it called, the gallery app, the file browser, the terminal, the camera app. Well, there are really the most used applications, I would say, and of course the calendar, also the how it's called, the book with your contact lists. Those are really useful apps that no one thinks anymore. You don't think about it because it has to be there, so it's there. But for most common installed app on, let's say, Android or iOS, it's another situation, and every person is different. We cannot have a list that will fit, let's say, most people like one can think, because no one is very the same. So for this, you have to rely on developers, and if you don't have the skills to develop an app, you will have the skill to bring developers on board. You will have the means to incentivize them because um, I know a lot of developers are interested on the technical challenge. Yes, that's fine. They will do it for the glory. But all of them needs also to eat and to have a room to live in, some roof over their head. And it's true for each and every one of the Ubuntu Touch, all the contributors to Ubuntu Touch. So yeah, if you don't have the means technically, maybe you can find a way to organize developers and say, okay, I really need this app because my life depends on it. I need my banking app. So what you can do is try to lobby your bank to have an app for Ubuntu Touch. Well, maybe not the best idea because it will be difficult, but why not if you can bring enough people to go to the bank and petition something? Or you can also gather other people interested in the same app, try to create an online, how it's called, like Indiegogo, a crowdfunding campaign to say, okay, we have this amount of money with many people just to bring some app in the store for Ubuntu Touch. And I'm sure if, let's say me, because I'm not in this situation, I don't want to be a paid developer for Ubuntu Touch. But let's say I have the means to develop an app for it, and I see, okay, there are thousands of euros for this, and this app. I will say, okay, I can live for 6 months if I do 6 apps. Maybe I can do that, and I will try to do it and deliver something. If I don't see this kind of incentive, I'm not sure I can do it. I will put it in my to-do list and never touch it until maybe 2, 3, 4 years because life happened. So yeah, this is a very difficult topic because, as I said previously, the foundation doesn't have a lot of money. We cannot pay developers for developing an app, for example, for the browser. But hopefully you have Alfred that already tried something, but he has also to put some food in his plate. And so if you can gather around to bring something that you really need, and it seems that like the browser is a good example, then okay, feel free to create a crowdfunding. It's up to you. We are a community, but it's not a centralized community. We are not only UB ports and with the member of the foundation. The foundation
we already have some things in place for the open store, for example, where when you install something, you get asked whether you would like to donate. Please take it more into consideration than just pressing it away. That's all I can say to that.
Yeah, and if you want some app like I will say WhatsApp, but it's really hard to come up with a WhatsApp application for Ubuntu Touch except for the web apps. But yeah, if you really want something like this, then maybe try to find someone that is willing to do the work. If you can manage to get enough people on board with enough money for them to do. That's it. That's my advice. If you really want an app for Ubuntu Touch, then we have developers. Yes, they have some skills, and some will do this for free because they have free time. Some of them don't have free time anymore, and some of them need money more than everything. That's life. So hopefully it answers this kind of questions that we have frequently. And the foundation is not a company. We are not Google. We are not Canonical. We are not able to do everything that you can think and are somehow legitimate to ask for a product that seems like a company product, because it started like a company product, but it's not anymore. So this difference is very important, and I insist on it. So yeah, please take it into consideration and say, okay, I'm a part of it, and I will take upon myself to gather people that have the same mindset, or the same view, or the same needs, and try to make it a reality. That's how you should approach a community.
Yeah.
A
We're going
community-based
very deep
effort.
into the same topic. We should stop there.
Yeah,
It's been going on for too long, right? To be honest.
final words.
Yes. Marius, would you, because Marius has not been talking over the last few minutes, how about you going to the question of Lazarus?
Yes, I can do that. Yeah, I have been a little bit quiet. But it was good to just listening in too. But I will take the one from Lazarus. Hey, thank you for a great Q&A event. I got a question regarding partial file system encryption. I think for the real world usage, it's really important to have at least parts of the file system encrypted, namely home, temporary, and swap. It really may happen that you lose your phone and random people should be able to access your phone then. And I am interested in what's the state of this future. I heard there has been begun work on it. What's needed to make this happen? What kind of action would be helpful to support that? Thanks in advance, Lazarus. I think you, Alfred, has been
Yes.
experimenting with this.
So the first initial proof of concept was with FS Script by Google, which is just the user space components, making sure that they configure the slash home of the X4 partition that the data is stored on, to use encryption. And the idea is you start the phone, it starts Lemiri in just pin entry mode, so to say, in greeter mode, as it's called. You enter your pin, your basically your user password, and it unlocks the home directory of that particular user and starts a full Lomiri afterwards. That's how I've been able to test it. I even have released like 2 years ago or something like that video on Twitter back then, where I demonstrated this and it worked. So it was actually only decrypting the files as soon as the pin was entered, and that was using FS script. The idea for 2404 would be, as soon as we get it to the point where it can be implemented, to make use of systemd homed for managing the home directory, where we can also use the same facilities in the kernel to configure the file system in a way that it works as expected. So it is not too far away, but I've been the only one who has put effort into this, and yeah, that's it. That's that. All right, so we are heading towards 14 minutes, and we wanted to keep it short this time around. So I don't know. Do you see any particular questions one or two questions that we can jump to?
Um, there's one here from Christopher about donations.
Mhm.
When we donate to Ubisoft, what happened to the money from the time they arrive? I'm curious what it pays for. So first of all, it pays for the infrastructure, that like the build servers, the uh, push servers, the system image servers, and all that. Um, but it also pays for a lot of uh, the foundation around UbiPorts too. It pays for example, events, where we go to events. It has paid for some developers and in the past, and um, also it pays for giving devices out to developers, for example. So there is a lot that goes into it. I don't have the full like cheat in front of me, but it is quite a lot.
Well then. All right. So if nothing else pops up, then I would say we can wrap this one up. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the person who asked questions and we couldn't take it tonight, but I will have some notes about them and maybe talk about them later on.
There we go. All right. So, thanks everyone for joining us to this wonderful 150th episode, which is a lot of numbers, if you ask me, counting with the hand. Oh, by the way, can anybody of you do binary counting with the hand?
No.
2,
1,
4, 5, 6,
2.
7, 8, 9, 10.
I know 0, 1.
No, that's 2. That's 1, 2.
That's 4.
2,
3.
3. You did 3.
Okay.
All right. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So thanks everyone for joining us this week, and keep them questions coming. We will try to answer them the next time around. Until then, take care of yourselves, watch out, and don't hit your toes on the table or something.
Yeah. Don't shoot
get
them as
yourself
well.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Don't fall down a mountain.